The polls are in, the numbers are devastating, and the Democrat Party is in full-blown panic mode. As Trump's polls surge, the Democrats are watching their entire political brand collapse in real time. This wasn't just a speech. It was a political earthquake, and the aftershocks are destroying the Democrat Party. Make sure to stick them to the very end of this video, because the numbers I'm about to show you explain why millions of Americans are turning their backs on the Democrats and why the midterms may already be over before they've even begun. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, celebrating yet another glorious day in Trump's golden age that you made possible back in November 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, you and I both know that the legacy media and big tech have teamed up to throttle what you're allowed to see. My Patriot Alerts is precisely where you'll find what they try to bury. Click the link below and don't let censorship decide what you know. The fallout from Trump's State of the Union is absolutely massive. The polls that came in overnight have completely shattered the Democrats' hopes of taking back Congress in November. According to CNN's own instant poll, 64% of speech watchers said Trump's policies will move the United States in the right direction. That's up from 54% before the speech, a 10-point jump in a single evening, and 63% overall approved of the speech. But here's where it gets interesting, because just one day before the State of the Union, Marist polled Americans on whether they thought Trump was moving the country in the right direction, and they found only 37% said yes, while 55% said that things would be changing for the worse. Now, to be fair, different pollsters use different methodologies, so this isn't an apples-to-apples comparison. But if we overlap those two polls, the Marist and CNN, after the speech, that would mean that we were going from 37% believing the country is headed in the right direction before the speech to 64% after. That's a 27-point swing in just a matter of days. And in an age of intense political polarization, that is frankly extraordinary, especially given the fact that right track, wrong track polling is one of the single most accurate predictive indicators for a midterm. The party in power often gains seats either in the House or Senate when voters overwhelmingly believe the country is headed in the right direction. We can fiddle with these numbers even more. If you penalize Trump by 13 points for the more Republican-leaning audience that night, you still have a majority of Americans, 51%, who now believe Trump is moving the country in the right direction. But before the speech, they didn't. Now they do, and that, my friends, is what we call momentum. Take a look at the latest from CBS. 75% approval of the speech. 75% approval. And the key reason for that, as we talked about yesterday, is that every minute of that hour and 48-minute speech was devoted to an 80-20 issue, right? These are positions that command supermajority support from the American public, and they leave opponents stranded on the wrong side of an overwhelming consensus. So protecting American citizens over illegal aliens, obviously an 80-20 issue. Banning congressional insider trading, that gets 86% support. No tax on tips over time in Social Security, 80-20. Voter ID, try 90-10, right? Keeping violent criminals locked up instead of releasing them on no cash bail, 90-10. Rooting out billions in welfare fraud, honoring gold medal American athletes, standing for angel moms who lost their kids to preventable crime. Trump did not pick a single issue that was controversial among actual voters. Every single one of them polls at supermajority levels across party lines, and then he sprung the trap. He forced Democrats to stake their positions on the opposite side of the 80-20, to publicly oppose all of these issues on live television for all to see. That's not just a speech, that's a kill shot. And you can see why the polls surge when you look at how real Americans reacted to the night. People across social media were absolutely floored by what they saw the Democrats do. or more accurately, what the Democrats refuse to do. Here's CNN's Scott Jennings talking to Michigan swing voters, and check out their reaction.
I think the part of the speech that's probably going to live on for most Republicans is when he asked the Congress, stand up if you think your duty is first to American citizens before illegal aliens. Republicans stood up. It gave him his most sustained applause for the night. I suspect, man, you're going to see this in a lot of campaign ads, that Democrats wouldn't stand up. What did you all think of the showmanship of that, or of sort of the spectacle of trying to get Democrats to stand up for that?
Well, I think the point, I think that you know, and it may have gotten a little muddled, but, you know, in the showmanship, but I think his point is valid. Everybody in that room represents the citizens in this country. And are you doing your job? He should, you know, the governor asked, is Trump doing his job? Trump asked, are all of you doing your job?
Yeah, that's perfect. You represent the citizens of this country. And the question that Trump posed to all of them is, are you doing your job? And the Democrats' unequivocal answer was, hell no. If our job is to represent you, the American citizen, then we have deliberately abdicated that responsibility on behalf of illegal aliens. Make no mistake, the reaction from everyday Americans to that was volcanic. People could not believe what they were seeing. Democrats refusing to stand for angel moms who lost their children to illegal alien murderers. They refused to stand for the Olympic hockey heroes. They refused to stand for voter ID, which polls at 90% support. They refused to stand for no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, even though Kamala tried to co-opt that. They refused to stand for keeping violent criminals locked up. I mean, it's unbelievable. As one commentator perfectly put it, the Democrats showed the whole country who they really are. They are anti-American, or as we like to frame it on this channel, they are post-American. They want to burn the entire nation down, right, as part of the punishment for our past sins, and then remake it in their own cultural Marxist image. And even Democrat strategists are openly admitting that that speech was an absolute nightmare for their party. Wait until you see this. But first, gang, let me tell you what I'm seeing right now. Most people are trying to build wealth by making predictions, okay? They're trying to predict the market. They're trying to predict interest rates, predict what the Fed will do, predict which stock, which crypto, which hot investment will win next. And that's exactly why so many Americans feel stuck. But I just learned about something that doesn't require prediction at all. It's a government-run system where double-digit returns are guaranteed by law, backed by real assets and enforced by the state, not historically, not on average, but by statute. And the part that shocked me is how simple it is. You don't need to flip houses. You don't need to manage tenants. You don't need to gamble on Wall Street. You can literally test the waters with as little as $50. And it only takes a couple of spare hours a week. That's why my buddy Jay is hosting a free live masterclass this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. He's going to show you exactly how it works, step by step, and how regular Americans can start safely. But it's live only, no replay, so go to turleyclass.com to register. That's turleyclass.com, or text Turley to 72,000. Turley to 72,000. Again, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want a return strategy based on state statutes, not prediction, I'll see you in this amazing masterclass. Top Democrat strategists and liberal analysts are being forced to admit what really happened the other night. The Democrat political strategist Doug Schoen called Trump's performance, quote, a virtuoso performance. He said Trump dominated the dialogue and actually laid out the themes that will define the midterms, and the Democrats ended up looking absolutely pathetic. They're scrambling. They have no leader, and the party in many respects is in shambles. It's in a free fall, and that's key. You can't win the midterms if your party is so visually vile and chaotic. And when you got the likes of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib literally screaming like banshees at the president during the speech, I mean, they've become the official face of this post-American, anti-American Democrat Party, and the vast majority of the country is utterly repulsed by it. By contrast, Trump's nearly 2-hour State of the Union address was pure civilizational populism in rhetorical form. He framed the nation as back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever. And he connected his presidency to the approaching 250th anniversary of American independence, a civilizational milestone, not a partisan one. The speech hit every civilization's populist theme: border security, economic security, cultural security. On the issue of economic sovereignty, his tariffs were framed as foreign countries paying tribute, not as a tax on Americans. In fact, the more tribute those foreign countries pay, the less tax we'll have to pay. Trump told Congress that the trade deals negotiated before the Supreme Court's disastrous ruling would hold precisely because the partners know that the legal powers that Trump has to make a deal could be far worse if they decided to test him. He focused on the border as civilizational boundary. The secure border narrative that he gave positioned the nation, it positioned the border as a civilizational restoration. It's not merely a matter of law enforcement. Again, if we don't have a border, we don't have a country. He focused on Iran as an existential civilizational threat. Trump warned that we will never permit the world's top sponsor of terrorism to possess a nuclear weapon, framing the Iranian confrontation more in civilizational existential terms rather than just mere geopolitical calculation. He appealed to housing populism. His call to ban institutional investors from purchasing single-family homes is textbook populist policy, using state power to intervene against the financialized algorithmic economy that has dispossessed so many working families. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant. America first all the way through, that effectively trapped the Democrats in revealing who they really are, America last. And voters by the millions witnessed every moment.